Welcome to the Prospects Plus Sphere of Influence Secret Weapons webinar today. I am the cowboy with Prospects Plus, and we're going to be sharing some strategies on how to get more business opportunities out of the people in your sphere of influence list. We're going to show you a new CRM feature that we have that's 100% free. It's just going to help. We talk to people about why they don't market to their sphere. I think most people's biggest challenge is getting their list together. It takes some time, it takes a little bit of work. So we try to give some tools out there to help make it a little bit easier for you, but we're also going to share some ways not only to build your sphere of influence list, but how to maintain it using our business-based system. We're also going to expose how many contacts should be in your sphere of influence list, as well as how to grow your sphere of influence list. And we're going to give you our 3 extra closings guarantee before we wrap up. We're going to show you how to completely automate a 1-year or more sphere of influence direct mail campaign. If that's something you're interested in, we're going to share with you the 20-year value of one customer based on the NAR profile of home buyers and sellers. And we're going to give you a couple of free gifts that'll help you make some more money out there in terms of branding yourself more effectively, staying top of mind, and hopefully becoming the celebrity realtor that people think about when it's time to buy or sell a house. We want them to think of you naturally and have your face and name pop into their head. So that's what effective branding can do for you. We're going to share with you some fun and easy strategies on how you can do that. And going to give you a couple of promo codes before we wrap up, just in case you ever want to save a few bucks. So with that in mind, we have a live Q&A. You can use at the bottom of the Zoom screen. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to answer them. I also want to give you my direct line and my email address. I do complimentary 30 minutes or so Zoom private training sessions. So if anybody wants to schedule a one-on-one half an hour training lesson regarding something with Prospects Plus that I can try to help you with, I usually schedule those in the afternoons. My email address is cowboy@prospectsplus.com. It's cowboy@prospectsplus.com. And my direct telephone line is 877-351-3663. So if any of you have any questions that are maybe a little off topic from today's webinar, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'll do whatever I can to help you out anytime we can. So with that in mind, National Association of Realtors statistics show that agents that are consistently closing 50 transactions per year and above are getting 66% of their business from friends, family, close acquaintances, referrals from those groups of people. And I always like to remind people to throw in your past clients into that list, because once you've done business with somebody, they're naturally part of your sphere of influence list. And like I said, before we wrap up today, I'll show you what the 20-year value of just one customer could be, even if they don't even send you any referrals. So this is just if they continue to do business with us, with you, and you owned their mind share or their market share, and you're naturally thought of as their realtor of choice. So friends, family, close acquaintances, past clients, and then referrals from those groups of people. So that is what the definition of the sphere of influence is. A lot of people still get it confused with geographic farm area. Just because you live in a particular subdivision doesn't mean that that's part of your sphere of influence. Now, it's usually going to be limited to people that know you. Hopefully they like you, they trust you. And when somebody has a conversation with them about buying or selling a house, or when the time comes that they get motivated to buy or sell a house, the goal is for your name and face to subconsciously appear in their mind. So that's, we're going to teach you some ways you can get there sooner rather than later. So first things first, do you know how many people should be in your sphere of influence list? A segue to that is how many people are in your sphere of influence list. And if you're not sure of either answer, that's okay. We're going to give you some tools that'll help you discover both. First tool, if you go under the resources tab here on prospectsplus.com and just go to our SOI calculator. This is just an easy way to determine, based on whatever your income goal is, I'm going to scroll down a moment, to determine how many people you might need to have in order to make the kind of money you want to make in the next 12 months. So I'm just going to plug in a couple of sample numbers here. Whoops, my laptop got away from me. So I'm going to plug in $250,000, and let's pretend that the average commission per transaction in my area is $13,500. Well, if I want to make $250,000 in the next 12 months, I'm going to need 19 transactions to do that. And if 66% of that business should be coming from my sphere, I'm going to need about 180 people in my sphere of influence list to hit that income goal. So there is an ideal number. There's an Oxford University psychologist by the name of Robin Dunbar. They did a study on the human brain to determine how many people were capable of maintaining those relationships with. If you ever want to read up on that study, by the way, just type into any search engine the 2 words Dunbar's number. It's a pretty cool read. But he's determined that we as humans are capable of maintaining about 150 relationships. So 150 is kind of the target goal of how many people you want to be able to retain information about. Let's say if you bump into somebody out at the bank or the grocery store at a public event, you don't want to have to look into your CRM to be able to remember their spouse's name, their hobbies, where they work, things like that. So people, like I said, friends, family, close acquaintances, past clients, people that if you did bump into them in public, you can have at least a meaningful conversation with them without having to resort to looking up something in your CRM. So that's important. And speaking of that, I do want to just show you where that's located. So if you go onto your drop-down menu under ProspectsPLUS.com, and all of these tools can be used free of charge by any realtor in the country. We do appreciate those of you that are already a member of Prospects Plus. And like I said, I'll be handing out some promo codes before we end, but you don't have to spend a penny with Prospects Plus in order to learn from our webinar today and get some ideas to make you more money. So if you click on your drop-down menu and just click on Sphere of Influence, just want to show you this is a really cool feature. I started building mine just to see how quick and easy it was. It is very quick and easy. You can add names right here and plug them in as you go. We don't charge for this. We're not ever going to charge for this. This is just a tool. Like I said, most people's biggest challenge in the reason they haven't gotten started is their mailing list isn't intact. They don't know how it needs to be. So this is an easy way for you to plug in some information about people. There's some tags that you can enter based on who they are. So you can use this even if you downloaded a geographic farming list and just tag people maybe by income, length of residence, and things like that. But you can just jot down some notes. Again, it's just a tool designed to make it easier to get started. There's a saying out there, some of you may have heard of it. It's, don't wait for all of the lights to turn green before you drive into town, because you'll never get there. So you can start marketing yourself effectively with whichever list you've got right now. You can always tweak it as you go. So don't wait for perfection. It will never be perfect, but you can always massage this list and tweak it as you go. It's really quick. It's easy to do. Again, if anybody wants some one-on-one training or has more questions about any of the information we're sharing with you today, you're welcome to email me at cowboy@prospectsplus.com, and we'll have some one-on-one time together to help you accomplish your individual goals. So remember, Dunbar's number is 150. That's about the number of people you should shoot for. And here's another interesting stat from National Association of Realtors. On average, they say that people move about every 9 years. So obviously, if we have 150 people in our sphere of influence list, not everybody's going to move in the next 12 months. But studies show that there's about 15% of those people that are likely to buy or sell a house in the next 12 months. 15% of 150 is 22.5. So let's just call it 22 potential transactions out of the people that you already know. And if you don't have 150 people in your sphere of influence list yet, you're going to get a free download of our BusinessBASE system. And on page 8 of the BusinessBASE system, there's a list of contacts, potential contacts of people you can add to your sphere to help you grow. I think all of us, including myself, we know more people than we think we know. So page 8 is a great tool. I talked to a realtor in Ventura, California. She's in her hometown. She went to school and college there. She's been in the business about 15 years. She thought she only had about 70 people in her sphere of influence list. I let her download the BusinessBASE. I told her to focus on the questions on page 8. She called me back a couple of days later and said that she had about 27 more people than she realized she had in her sphere. So I think we all are just maybe not thinking about who should be in our sphere. Page 8 in the BusinessBASE is going to help you with that. Also on page 9 and 10, you're going to get 30 ways to connect with people without asking for their business. And another 30 reasons to call someone without asking for their business. If every time you talk to somebody, you're asking them if they're thinking about buying or selling, pretty soon they won't take your call, or if they see you at the grocery store, they're going to duck down the aisle just to avoid you. So we're going to give you some personal excuses as to why you're having a conversation with them that don't revolve around, hey, you thinking about selling? So we're going to give you some of that stuff too. So resources tab, boom. You're going to get a copy of the business plan too. I'm not going to really focus on that because you're going to get it in your free downloads, but I am going to show you the marketing planner, and I'm going to teach you some branding techniques that can help anybody in any industry, especially in real estate. So on this marketing planner page, it's under the resources tab. Let me go back and show you. You go to resources. When you click on marketing planner, it's going to take you to this page right here. Scroll down a little bit until you see that blue button. Click the download button and you will get a PDF version of it. And you're going to get a free download of the marketing planner. It's really cool. It's easy to follow. It's laid out in calendar format. And you're going to get that business base that we talked about, which actually guarantees the 3 closings in the next 12 months. And that's actually the meat and potatoes of the stuff I'm teaching from today is our business base. So there's the download button. I'm going to leave it on this page for a little while. If any of you are taking notes out there, I'd love for you to write down these 3 numbers. They're important and they work. It's the numbers 3, 7, and 27. Write down the numbers 3, 7, and 27. If you remember nothing else about today, remember the 3, 7, 27 law of branding. What that means in a nutshell, and some people have heard different versions of this, but the 3, 7, 27 law of branding means that it takes 3 contacts with someone before they'll remember your name or even recognize your face. It takes 7 contacts with that person before they will associate you with your profession. And then it takes up to 27 contacts with someone before subconsciously you flip that switch in their subconscious mind to where they will naturally think of you when they have a need for your services. So for example, if my plumbing or my air conditioning's working just fine and I get something in the mail from a plumbing or an AC guy, I'm likely not interested yet. But if my AC goes out and it's 103 degrees, guess what? I'm probably going to be scouring the trash can looking for that guy's postcard unless I already know somebody that I do business with. So it's important to be fresh in people's mind. You want to be last in their head. People aren't going to remember you if you're the realtor they haven't heard from in a year and a half or longer, or if they're just hearing from you like a shotgun approach inconsistently. Successful realtors have a strategic, focused, long-range marketing plan to keep your name, your face, and the fact that you're in real estate in front of those eyeballs over and over and over again. So when the need arises for them to need your services or a friend or family member needs your services, you want to be the last realtor they heard from and the realtor that they've been hearing from more consistently and repetitively. That's the magic. And your relationship with those people is the real magic. Remember, this is not geographic farming. These are people that know you, like you, and trust you. And when somebody talks about real estate, your name and face is supposed to pop into their head. So 3-7-27 law of branding, here's an example. If you've ever been listening to the radio or watching a TV show and a commercial comes on the air and it starts off with a little jingle, and within the first 15, 20 seconds, you recognize that jingle and you know exactly which company, product, or service is being advertised. Well, that's the 3-7-27 law of branding working on us. I remember when I was a kid, it was 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, right? Big Mac at McDonald's. I haven't heard that thing in probably 40 years. It's still stuck in my thick skull. So with real estate, remember 3-7-27. How frequently are you staying in touch with the people in your sphere of influence list? Most people's honest answer is not frequently enough. And even if you're staying in touch with everybody every 30 days, that means that it's going to take you longer than 2 years to flip that switch, get in their head like the Big Mac jingle I just recited or whatever it is, Chevy, like a rock, right? Built Ford tough, all those kinds of things. The best companies in the world know about consistency and repetition. So with real estate, this is going to get to the fun stuff. Some of you are going to try to tune me out, but if you stick with me, I promise you it's not going to sound like as much work as it sounds when it first rolls off my tongue. So don't tune out. The marketing planner is going to help you accomplish the 3-7-27 law of branding. We don't want it to take 2 years before you get in their head. We want it to happen sooner rather than later. And you don't need to spend a penny with ProspectsPLUS to do this. Here's the approach that the marketing planner in our business space is going to teach you. It's called Send, Call, See. So think about it for a moment. We want you to stay in touch with people in your sphere of influence list more frequently than every 30 days. Not to bug them, not to ask them for their business, just to build those relationships. And when we get to page 9 and 10 in the business space, you'll see some easy things you can do, stuff you're probably already doing that you can use to stay in touch. So send something. It doesn't matter what you send. Every 30 days, it could be an email, text message, a handwritten note, a newsletter. You're welcome to send postcards. Think of us if you do. I'll show you how you can do it quick and easy where you don't even have to think about it. Remember back in the day, speaking of not thinking about it, I remember this, used to write paper checks to pay our bills. Every once in a while, I'd forget. Well, guess what? When I finally got around to putting all my bills on auto pay, when I automated it, my credit score went up because my bills got paid on time. So automation works, and successful business people out there automate things that they can do without having to be hands-on. So send something every 30 days. And check this out. 77% of us check our mail within the first 5 minutes of taking it out of the mailbox. That means you have a captive audience. And there's no spam folder if you decide to send a handwritten note or a newsletter or anything for that matter via direct mail. There's no spam folder, and you got a captive audience within the first 5 minutes of people taking it out of their mailbox. And guess what? Yeah, sometimes the stuff's going to end up in the trash, but these aren't cold calls. These are people in your sphere of influence, people that know you, like you, trust you, and they know that you're in real estate. So that stat about NAR saying that people move about every 9 years, and about 15% of the people that we know are probably going to buy or sell in the next 12 months. And remember, I told you, equates to about 22 transactions. If you're sending somebody something, email, direct mail, doesn't matter. And by the way, for those of you sending emails and you have not yet put your agent picture on your email signature, make sure your name and your face and the fact that you're in real estate is on everything you send, whether it's electronic or direct mail. Put your picture on everything. That's the most important thing. It's not the words. That's not the magic. It's your relationship with these people that's the magic bullet. So put your name, your face, the fact that you're in real estate on everything. So send, call, see. The second step to staying in touch, don't tune us out. There's an easy way to do this. Call everybody every 30 days. And this is the part where most light bulbs go off. Same way you call these people every 30 days is the same way most of us have to eat an elephant. How do you do that? One bite at a time. So alphabetize your month when calling people in your sphere. What we mean by that is don't try to call everybody at once. One letter of the alphabet per day. Check this out. If I call everybody tomorrow morning whose last name starts with the letter A, I'm talking about between 10 and 15 people max, right? I can knock those calls out in about 15 to 30 minutes in most cases. On Monday, call people whose last name starts with the letter B. Tuesday, the letter C. The reason I skip the weekends is because most of us don't know people whose last name starts with Q, X, Y, or Z, and we don't need to do these calls on Saturdays and Sundays. And like I said, when we get to page 10, in the BusinessBASE system, I'm going to give you 30 excuses as to why you're calling. And if you get their voicemail, perfect. Leave them a short little message and say, hey, Steve, no need to call me back. I was just calling because I heard a story I wanted to share with you. Hope the wife and kids are doing good, whatever. Doesn't matter what you say. It's that you get that emotional credit for picking up the phone and calling. So think about that. If you mail something, whether it's electronic or direct mail, every 30 days, and then you call everybody you know alphabetically every 30 days, that's 2 contacts a month. When the time comes that they are thinking about buying or selling, and they've been hearing from you a couple of times a month, and you're not being pushy, you're not asking them if they want to list their house, you're just reminding them that you're in the business. Out of those 22 potential transactions in the next 12 months, we got a pretty strong feeling you're going to get a lot more than 3 of them, just as a result of staying in touch and being friendly and cultivating those relationships. Remember, the people you know, they're not cold calls. And then the C part, hey, we get it. Times have changed. You're not going to see everybody every 30 days, but you can see them, I think, every quarter, right? And if you can't see them face to face, be creative. One of our members uses FaceTime or Zoom or GoToMeeting. You can be visual with people without having to be at their house, or if you see if there's a public event, you see somebody you know, stop and chit chat with them. One member shared a cute little, I thought it was a creative way of staying in touch visually. He said most of the people in his sphere are also Facebook friends. So instead of just hitting the like button when he sees vacation pictures or a family event, he said he'll also take his cell phone, record like a 6 or 7 second personalized video message and send it via Facebook Messenger or email or text message, just saying something like, hey, Bob, I saw your vacation photos at the beach. Looks like you guys had a great time. Hope to see you soon. Hope you're all is well. Say hi to Stacy for me, whatever. Doesn't matter what you say. The main thing is your name, your face, the fact that you're in real estate, getting in their head. Because why? The 3-7-27 law of branding. You want to get to those 27 touches, those 27 contacts sooner rather than later. You want to be known as the last realtor they heard from, their go-to realtor, and you don't want to be the person they haven't heard from in a while, right? So the marketing planner can help you with that. There's color-coded suggested activities of things you can do each and every week to try to hit that send, call, see. So don't sell yourself short. Like I said, the magic is in your relationship with them. Send something. We can show you how to automate that. It's not hard to do. So with that being said, I'm going to segue into the BusinessBASE system. Again, that's under our resources tab. The free downloads are under the marketing planner page, and you're going to get all three of these: business plan, the marketing planner, and the BusinessBASE. So the BusinessBASE, it's not sexy, it's not fun, but guess what? It'll make you more money. I promise you this. So I'm going to scroll down to page 8 for those of you trying to grow the number of people in your sphere, and we'll get you out of here on time. We got about 8 or 10 minutes left, really quick. Excuse me. So while I'm scrolling down to page 8, so I've been talking about all this information verbally, so that's why I'm not going to spend time on every single page. We're saving you time. You could read this later at your own pace. But a couple of qualifiers we just recommend thinking about whether or not to add somebody or keep someone in your sphere of influence list. So first, ask yourself, do they live in the geographic area that you're doing business? And secondly, can they buy a house? Can they qualify for a loan? Or do they have a piece of property that they can list through you for sale? So if those things don't exist, you might decide whether or not you want to keep spending your marketing time and marketing dollars nurturing those relationships. Just a couple suggestions. We're not trying to tell you who to put in or who to take out. So here we go. This is page 8. So for those of you that are trying to think about some people you could add to your sphere of influence list, this is a list of questions to help you with that. And don't forget the magic in small business owners in your neighborhood that you are spending your money with. Dry cleaners, restaurants, bakeries, whatever. People that you're spending your hard-earned money with, add them to your sphere of influence list, because sooner or later, they're going to have a need to buy or sell, right? On average, every 9 years or so, NAR says people are likely to move. So why not put them in your email list, put them in your direct mail list? You're in their business, you're seeing them face-to-face on a regular basis anyway, so add them to your sphere of influence list. We're going to get to the 20-year value of a customer based on the NAR profile of home buyers and sellers here in a couple of minutes. When you are thinking of an excuse to send a text message or an email or a telephone call, or if you just see somebody in public, here's some suggestions. You're not going to like or use all of them. Cherry pick your top 5, 8, or 10. Feel free to use them. And the ones that don't resonate with your personality style, just cross a line through them. No big deal. These are just ideas as to reasons why you're having a conversation with somebody, just to get that 3-7-27 to tick away sooner rather than later. So again, you can take a look at this in more detail later on. And if you do bump into somebody in public, what's the most important thing you can do? Smile. and don't be, always asking them if they're thinking about buying or selling. But anyway, when you're making those calls, when you're eating your elephant one bite at a time, when you're making these calls 1 letter per day, these are some suggestions as to why you're calling. No big deal. And guess what? Like, here's happy birthday or anniversary, the holidays, things like that always take care of themselves. So again, cherry pick your top favorite 8, 10 excuses, use them, cross the ones off the list you don't like, no big deal. They're just some suggestions as to why you were calling. So you want to get that 3-7-27 in their head sooner rather than later. And don't forget, the most important thing you can send is your name, your face, the fact that you're in real estate. So I'm going to skip next couple pages. I want to go to the 20-year value of a customer. And this is why it's important to keep your past clients in your sphere of influence marketing efforts. It's here on the next page. Now, this is based on the NAR profile of home buyers and sellers. We did not make these numbers up. In fact, the average median price of a house has gone up. I know it's well over $300,000 nowadays, so we are going to update these graphics. But let's just pretend for a moment that they haven't gone up. Let's just use these numbers as if they're still true today. You help somebody buy their first house. Your average commission nationwide would have been about $5,700. You became an expert at staying in touch. You made a friend with them. They aren't going to do business with somebody else. You branded yourself effectively, stayed in touch. They want to list that house for sale and buy another one through you because you are their rock star realtor. And average commissions earned on those 2 transactions shown here. Cycle repeats itself. They list their second home for sale, buy a third home through you because now you're like family, and average commission potential earned there. So even based on the old numbers, average commissions off one customer, not even counting if they give you some referrals, is about $50,000 in commissions earned. And if you did pay to send a newsletter or a handwritten note or something through the mail service, it's let's just say it's less than $300 over the course of 20 years for one individual person. I was blown away when I saw these numbers. Maybe some of you are too. And don't forget, if you have any questions, you're welcome to hit that little Q&A thing at the bottom. And I'm going to wrap up with doing a quick little demo on how you can automate it. I'm going to give you some promo codes, whether you automate or not, and tell you about our guarantee while I'm doing that. So I'm going to go back to the website, show you some cool stuff. We have 10 approved SOI campaigns. We got a bunch of different content for other categories, but we're focusing on SOI today. So think about the send, call, see approach for a moment. If you picked one of our 10 SOI campaigns and you send out 150 of these a month or more, but the minimum is 150, and we're going to trust you that you're making those phone calls. If you haven't gotten one transaction within 6 months, you need to call us because we do want to make sure you're making the phone calls. You're the magic. Our postcards are just a vehicle to get your name and face out there in front of these eyeballs, but your relationship is the magic. But if at 6 months you haven't gotten one transaction as a result, call us. We'll work with you on those phone calls. Make sure you're making them because those are really what's going to make the difference. Postcards are just one step out of that process. And if you did that and we worked together the second 6 months and you haven't gotten at least 3 transactions out of those 150 people, we'll put our money where our mouth is and refund you the money spent on those 150 postcards. It's that simple. So there's no tricks, there's no gimmicks. It's just send, call, see. We'll send it for you, just like I put my bills on auto pay. I can't remember the last time I wrote a paper check. My bills get paid on time now. Thank you. So pick whichever campaign you like. There's no perfect one. I'm going to just show you a quick, short demo before we wrap up. And like I said, if anybody wants some private one-on-one training on how to navigate the website, or you have any specific questions that we're not talking about on this training today, my email address is cowboy@prospectsplus.com, and my phone number is 877-351-3663, because you know why? What gets scheduled gets done, just like the bill pay, right? So you can pick your start date. It doesn't have to go out right away. You can pick whichever time of the month you want the postcards to start going out, and we'll mail them around the same time each month for you. If you want to skip a particular card, just click on the card and it takes it out of the rotation. You can see on this particular campaign, there's 24. So if you want to only do 12, you can hit this 12 button. If you only want to do 6, hit the 6 button. But remember the 3-7-27 law of branding. I'm going to go with more rather than less in terms of how many months. I'm going to add my mailing list. I'm going to hit existing list. I've got an SOI list right here of 150 people. You can send 1 card a month. There's no minimum requirement. The only reason 150 is a requirement is for our guarantee. But guess what? It doesn't matter how few or how many people you have. You need to start doing something sooner rather than later. Remember, don't wait for all the lights to turn green. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before you drive into town. You won't get there. So I'm adding 150 people. Comes out to about $135 a month. One of the promo codes I'm going to give you saves you half off this number on the first month. So write it down when we get there in just a moment. I'm going to scroll down here and pick the back side of the card, and I'll just pick this particular one. Click here to edit. Again, for more detailed instruction on editing and things like that, contact me. We'll schedule a free one-on-one. I'm happy to help you learn how to do this stuff in more detail. So I'm going to double click here for the QR code. Again, this is something that I probably should have picked a different back, but move my thing. And I'm just going to click on this QR code. It puts it there. There's ways you could change this color. Again, email me and I'll show you how. So if you did make any changes, hit the next button. And we're about to get you on auto marketing, so you don't have to babysit it. Now, check this out. These aren't contracts. You can cancel anytime, unlike my gym membership. I know I haven't been going, but you can cancel these anytime. You can modify the back of the card anytime you want to. You're not locked into anything, and you don't pay for a penny until each day the postcards are printed and mailed. These are not prepay. It's pay as you go. You can cancel at any time. There's no contracts. You're not locked into anything. So I'm going to just scroll down here and proof it. There's everything I need there. And I'm going to check this box that says this is my final proof. We're going to get to the promo codes next. I'm going to hit add to cart. Here we go. I'm going to hit checkout right here. This is just saying that sometimes the post office machines put a stupid little smudge on some of the postcards, not all of them. And it's not just from Prospects Plus. Any postcard you get in your mailbox next week might have some smudges on it too. So take a peek at it and they're always in the same spot, regardless of which company mailed them. So now it's loading up all the details. Here's some promo codes. So write these down. I'm going to give you 3 of them. First one's going to give you half price if you schedule an automated campaign. You don't have to, but if you do, write this one down. Cowboy, when you hit the apply button, first month will be discounted half off 135. That's the cap. If you have higher number of cards going out, it'll still cap out at 50% of 135. What's that? 67.50. Next promo code is just for any just listed, just sold, any kind of postcard you want to send out, one-time order, hit Cowboy 10, hit the apply button. You'll get a discount on the printing and paper, not the sales tax or postage. And then last but not least, my third gift to you for listening today and attending is CB10. Same thing. You get a discount on any individual postcard order. All those are one-time usage promo codes. I do want to show you a couple of quick things too. The resources tab has training videos. So there's some great instructional videos. You can learn how to do some cool stuff, or you can schedule a live little free training with me sometime. And our help button, there's customer support, our 866 numbers right here at the top to get you to our customer support team. Just in review, send, call, see, it works. Your name, your face, the fact that you're in real estate, most important thing you can do, regardless if you're doing electronic or direct mail marketing. And don't forget about the 3727 law of branding. You want to get in their head. You want to be the last realtor they heard from and the realtor they've heard from most consistently and repetitively, because you deserve to earn their business. You may not get all 22 out of that 150 in the next 12 months, but I promise you, if you're staying in touch with people at least a couple times a month, I think you'll get a lot more than 3 transactions in the next 12 months. So stay in touch. Again, my phone number is 877-351-3663. And remember, what gets scheduled gets done. Just like a vacation in advance or auto bill pay, it'll get done. But even if you want to do it manually, don't forget the send, call, see approach. Thanks for being on with Prospects Plus. I see a question pop up right at the end. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Very nice. Email me at cowboy@prospectsplus.com. Have a great rest of this year. Cowboy signing out. Thanks for being on today.